For those who don't know, what is Toastmasters?
I'm going to borrow some of your language. I like yours the most.
Yeah.
Toastmasters is a club where individuals can come. There is a structure. People can start. We have people come into our club who can barely stand in front of an audience and utter words. I met someone who was like that just this last weekend. And then little by little, with just a very structured program, begin practicing being themselves, uttering words in front of a lot of eyeballs. Because evolutionarily, we get stress whenever we are in the focus of the community. On the savannah, that could be life or death. Today, it really doesn't matter, but those fears deep in our brains, our lizard brains, still reside. And so we have to just practice getting over. And your phrase, being in the dojo, we come in and you just practice. You're in the dojo. We want to fail there rather than in front of the board of directors, or rather when we're giving a pitch to raise money. You go and you just become yourself. The thing that you said earlier about your English teacher saying, forget all the rules, that's a great part in Toastmasters. Is if you start with that structure and move along, there comes a point where you scrap all that and just realize it's about the content. It's about what I want to say to the audience, about how I can change lives. And that flows through. There was a guy who has made millions of dollars speaking in front of people at this last convention. And he got up and he said, ahs and ums throughout. And of course, in a Toastmaster meeting, we'd be saying, you had 5 ums and you shouldn't have said. But he mastered the craft so much that it was like sitting talking to your uncle, and he gave great content in front of a group of 1,000 people. So that's ultimately, we have literally seen people who could barely stand in front of a group, and then years later they're doing stand-up comedy, they're pitching for startups, they're speaking in front of thousands that way. So it's a very good pathway from wherever you begin.
It's extremely cool to see firsthand somebody come in. Most people are afraid of public speaking, so
right.
It looks like they see the Grim Reaper or something. It's just
it's true.
It is palpable, but everybody knows that and everybody's welcoming. But I think there's an initial, just massive improvement in the first 5 or 6 times somebody gets up there, that it's not so much like getting better at free throws where, okay, now you shoot a little to the right and you hone in your craft. The first 5 or 6 times, I think, is more analogous to exposure therapy. It's just
that's right. That's a good analogy. That's right.
It's just like getting up there, having your physiology relax and return to equilibrium.
Right.
And then I've noticed it's around 6 times, then people can actually come off stage and remember what the audience looked like, remember what they talked about, and it's at that point then they can start picking apart their tactics.